Welcome to another episode of Mid Week Musings, where nostalgia lives, fandom thrives, and those little pieces of plastic we all grew up with, yep, we still hold meaning and they still remain in our lives. I'm your host, Clinton, and today we're diving into the heartbeat of a phenomenon that spans generations, cultures, and collectibles around the world. The mass appeal of action figures and why collecting them has evolved from a childhood pastime into literally a way of life. From the first time you tore open a blister card and held your hero in hand, maybe it was He-Man, Batman, or perhaps maybe a Stormtrooper, you weren't just playing with a toy. You were storytelling, you were world building, and you were essentially connecting. And that's the magic. That magic, it never really leaves us. I think toy collecting is more than nostalgia. It's art appreciation, cultural memory, and in many ways self-expression. So whether it's a Mondo Motu figure with insane sculpt detail or a vintage Kenner piece that smells like the 80s, there's something deeply personal about curating your own universe. And in a world that moves so fast all the time, the love for collecting, along with also the social aspect, I think it all grounds us. It kind of reminds us of where we've been, who we've been, and perhaps even where we're going. So before we start the show, a special shout out to Sugo Toys for sponsoring this episode. Make sure you stick around to get a special discount code for the night. Full transparency here. None of the toys here on the show tonight were provided as cash for comment. Everything was essentially purchased by each and every one of us. So yeah, make sure you just sit back, crack open a drink, live vicariously through us, and like everyone else with a toy channel, allow us to be one of those wankers tonight.
This episode of Toy Reel is proudly brought to you by Sugo Toys.
Well, hello again. Tonight we have an assortment of various toys to unbox and perhaps some long overdue love for Star Wars, I think. Definitely looking forward to the Pokemon stuff and several other surprises as well. And as I've said, if we have time, we'll do a little grindhouse horror too as well. So let's get started and bring my co-host on tonight, the man from the suburbs of Doncaster, someone who keeps reminding me to organize a run sheet. A dear friend I used to have Oliver Brown escapades and toy runs with, and God forbid tonight he's going to be talking about something else other than Transformers. Jason Murray, please. Hello.
Hello. Sorry, I didn't add myself in there. By the way, did you send me a run sheet yet? I didn't get a share notification. Is that like is that a thing we're doing now? No, that's okay. Yeah.
I had a run sheet sitting in my outbox.
Wait. Hang on. I've got your run sheet right here. It's
Oh yeah. Sure. Good evening, Jonathan. And all the way from Brisbane, Daza. Hello, Vato. Back to you.
So
buddy.
you mentioned that we're talking about. I'm talking about something other than Transformers tonight.
Yes.
I wonder how that will go. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. I will clutch my sound wave close to my chest as I talk about another franchise, and we'll see how that ends up.
Funny. Yeah. So I guess what we'll do tonight on the show is we'll so you got a couple of, you got plenty actually, and I hear you've gone a bit mad with the blocky stuff, which is great. And considering the fact that Sugo are also one of our sponsors and you can buy blockies on their website, I think it's quite fitting that we see the variety that blockies are actually putting out. And one of those franchises is Pokemon. So I'm looking forward to that and see what you've essentially acquired and or your acquisitions, as far as that's concerned. So we'll do a bit of that. We'll do one, maybe perhaps a couple of characters, and then I'll swap over to Micro Squadron stuff, and then we'll go back to Pokemon. We'll go back to Micro Squadron stuff, and then we'll touch on hopefully something that we meant to unbox last night. So I hope everyone's having a good night so far. It's a Thursday evening of the 6th. No, actually, it's not the 6th. I forget. It's the 29th of May. Why am I saying the 8th of November 2024?
Is that the run sheet that you copied?
No, it wasn't a copied run sheet. This shows that was the last time I actually updated my firmware on the Roadcaster, and it was the 8th of November 2024. Oh, dear. Well, there you go. Okay. You want to give us a quick introduction quickly first to maybe blockies? I'll talk about the Jazzwares in a minute, but let's start with some.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
So, well, people who were watching our show last week, I'm going to add my screen share in here and figure out how to put that. Oh, that's not the right one. That's also not the right one. I haven't done this for a while. You know what? I'm just gonna do that.
Yeah, full screen.
Yeah, let's do that. Yeah.
Yep.
Do that. We've got dueling mouses on our backstage controls tonight. So as you might remember last week, I was talking about these little fellas. And in fact, we had a really good discussion about blockies versus Yellow Park, especially when it came to Transformers 1 characters. Be happy to know that in the intervening times, I've put in an order for some Yellow Park figures from our good friends at Sugo Toys, and so I'm looking forward to getting those in the next few weeks. Now, what I'm holding up there in front of the camera there is some of the Transformers blockies, which is very much my way into blockies. And now, Clinton, you asked me why I didn't tell a particular story last week. I'm going to tell it now. Okay, so what am I going to do? I'm going to take that down there. Yep, yeah. Cool. Yeah. So how did I come to sort of get involved with blockies, right? So blockies has a very strong Transformers offering, and they're branching out into other franchises. Transformers is not their first product, but it does seem to be one of their most popular ones at the moment. And it all started for me when I went to TF Nation last year. So I go to a UK convention called TF Nation every year. It comes up in August. I'll be there again this year as well. And I had heard about these model kits that were coming up at TF Nation, and TF Nation is structured so that they have a Friday panel day. So if you want to go along and talk about anything Transformers related, you can have a panel on that day, and fans and businesses can put a panel up that day. The official convention is Saturday and Sunday, but Friday's panel day, and so I noted that Blockies had put a panel up on Friday night at about 9 p.m. It's the last panel of the day, and there was a bit of a murmur going around in the bar, because it's a bar convention. Like, what is this blockies thing? Like, are we going to go along to this? And people are like, oh, I know those. That's those model kits from China. I wonder what they're doing here. And so we went along, and despite the fact that Blockies is a Chinese company, they had a very British gentleman presenting their panel on the Friday night. And when I say very British, I mean he spoke with a bit of an accent like this, right? Spoke like this, very, 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 very casual and stuff. But he was nervous as hell, getting up in front of a convention crowd and basically going and saying, "Please buy my products." And he was really, really nervous. And the icebreaker for it is that someone in the audience just said at the very start of the panel, they're like, "Can you just tell us, like, how do you pronounce your company's name? Is it Blockies or is it Blokies?" And he said, "Oh, yeah, look, that's a question we get a lot. It is Blockies. Hence we say Blockies all the time." And people are like, "Oh, really? Like, because you spell it like Blokies? It's a bit weird." He's like, yeah. It's just a trademark kind of copyright issue, blah blah blah. And so anyway, then within a minute of telling us how to pronounce the company's name, someone asked him how long he'd been working for the company, and he said, "Oh, I first went to Blokies about yeah." And he realized that he had fucked up, quite nicely in front of us all, and so he sort of collapsed, having a bit of a laugh, and the rest of the audience had a laugh, and that was the icebreaker moment. Everyone was like, "Okay, Like the people running this company are human. Let's have a listen to their what they're going to say. And so we all sat there and we were all like, oh yeah, these look pretty cool. And we looked at some of their Transformers animations. It wasn't until the very end of the panel when one of the TF Nation organizers just put his hand up and he just said, can you just clarify for me, like if I've got an Optimus Prime blocky and a Megatron blocky, can I replace Optimus Prime's right arm with Megatron's right arm so that he looks like Optimus does in the comics at the moment? And the guy was just like, yeah, I don't see why not. Like, you know, they're all the joints are compatible and stuff, and that just set everyone off because everyone wanted an Optimus with Megatron's gun arm. People descended upon this tiny little table that this guy had brought a tiny amount of stock, and they cleaned him out in the opening hours of the Saturday morning of the convention, and he had to sit there for the rest of the time just going like, I've got nothing. Like, you can have a poster. You know, like everything's been cleaned out. So I did not get any blockies.
Did they have a Dari or Murray?
I had a Dari with Murray. No, but we had a drink at the bar. And so I came home and I just went, wow, like everyone was opening their Transformers blockies for the rest of TF Nation. Everyone was really into it. Some people got the shiny Optimus Prime and they were really, really up on it. And like the genuine excitement and adoration that people had for these little figures that they're figuring out how to put together, like it was fantastic. And so I came home and I was just like, yeah, how do I get these in Australia? Oh my God, I have to go to AliExpress and get some. And they have since turned up locally. And I've been in contact with blockies and spoken to their marketing people, spoken to their influencer marketing and their regular marketing, and spoken about their distribution woes in Australia. And like very happily today, like I walked into a Miniso store and blockies are on sale at Miniso. They are really expensive, mind, but they are on sale there. And so blockies has been a thing that's very much on the cusp of going, you know, sort of getting big for the Transformers community over the last year or so. And I think they've done well with a lot of goodwill from the Transformers community. And now even though they did already, now they're really branching out into so many other franchises. They've got Minions products coming to the shelves. They've got Sesame Street. So like you can get Sesame Street characters as model kits that you can assemble and pose, and small thing. Yeah, these Sesame Street characters can hold Transformers weapons just for a nice little bit of a mashup, should you be so inclined. And it's been really good to see them get accepted by different toy communities. The one that I think you might be quite interested in is that later in the year they're going to start bringing out Star Wars products. They've also got Harry Potter as a license. As I said, they've got Minions. They do Kamen Rider. They even do Marvel. A lot of their Marvel stuff is based around the Infinity Saga, and a lot of their figures. So for the Transformers, they're very much the same sort of thing. You got a skeleton, you attach the arms, you put some pauldrons on the arms to turn it into the character that you want. Things are the right color. But when you get away from Transformers, the parts reuse is not quite so high, because the Transformers, they can sort of make a whole wave out of doing the same thing and just changing some of the bits here and there. But you can't do that with, for example, Pokemon. And let's put some of the Pokemon stuff up there.
We will in a minute, but I wanted to address some of the comments. Blockies kick rolls with whatever franchise they touch. Correct, Jonathan. Good evening, Craig. Thanks for joining us. He also goes that the Blockies Kamen Rider stuff is also awesome.
So I have no interest in Kamen Rider, and I haven't checked it out, but I'm actually really glad that their Kamen Rider stuff is in fact awesome. That's really cool. And so what I've got here in front of me here, I'm just going to put them up full screen. I might not touch them because they look pretty good sitting there as they are. I've got three of the Pokemon blockies. Now, Blockies announced their Pokemon products a few months ago, and they've only been released in China so far. So they've only had a license to sell these in China. You can, of course, go to AliExpress and buy them. But they've started promoting them they've started promoting them in the West on their global blockies page on Facebook now, and so I think a Western release is imminent. And also notably, you can pre-order them for a later in the year release in from Sugo Toys, a friend of the show and sponsor of this episode. So what you're looking at here, they've got 2 size classes in their range. They've got this one. They've got this one, which is our Eevee here, which is the S class, which would be small, and they've got S and L. So Charizard is an L class, and Meowscarada is also an L class. It's a little bit of a discrepancy in the size and detail of Charizard and Meowscarada. So while they are both an L class, Charizard is a little bit more expensive, and Meowscarada, I think the price for these at Sugo Toys is about $23 for Meowscarada, about $31 for Charizard, and about $8 or $9 for Eevee. So being able to get a Pokemon model kit for under $10 is pretty nice. I will say that the S classes might be a little bit simple for what we're looking at, but some of the larger figures have a lot more articulation and a lot more detail to them, and you can also see with the stand that Meowscarada's on. There's lots of sort of like blast effects and flame effects and landscapes and things like that. So that is my story about how I got into blockies, and I like to play Pokemon Go. I'm not into any other Pokemon stuff. Like I don't watch the series. I don't play the card game. I just play Pokemon Go, and so there's a few things that I'm into from there. So that's how I've ended up with Pokemon blockies as well.
Very nice. Can I ask quickly? Do they make, other figures like gachas and different types of figures other than model kits? Like, Pokemon, and if you can quickly summate very quickly what you think the appeal of Pokemon is.
Look, I think Pokemon's one of the most recognizable franchises on the planet. It appeals very much to collectors like you and I, because we have to catch them all and we've got to collect them all. You have a Pokedex, and it's filled up as you encounter Pokemon, whichever game. Like I said, I only play Pokemon Go, but the Pokedex is pretty much pretty common amongst all the different games. So you got to fill all the spots in your Pokedex, and you got to do that by encountering all of the different Pokemons. Pokemon itself means pocket monster. The original smaller Pokemon are meant to have sort of fit in the Pokeball and fit in your pocket. Obviously, like a real size Charizard would be quite a little bit larger. I don't think Charizard's really pocket sized anymore. But there we go. So when we're coming to talk about Pokemon, I know Transformers really well, and I don't necessarily know Pokemon as well as I do Transformers. So sometimes I stumble on some things. I don't really understand how one type defeats another in fighting. I just look it up online, and then I figure out where to go from there.
Cool. But hey, now that you got your favorite franchises all in 3-dimensional form, what can I say? And they look good, by the way. So I'm actually looking forward to seeing the other ones. So let's I want to address this comment before. Jonathan was saying that they started doing Super Sentai, aka Power Rangers, look pretty cool as well. And
can I put up a couple of photos that I've been doing as
please,
well?
can we? Let's do that, and then I'll start introducing Jazzwares, and then we can do one thing, and then we can come back to Pokemon. How's that?
Yeah, cool. So as I've been playing around with Charizard this week after I built him, like Charizard's really the one that I really like out of the bunch here. So I've decided that Charizard can walk like an Egyptian, and you can also see that I was even able to pose his wings for the walk like an Egyptian there as well. So that really impressed me. I was very happy with that. I also decided that Charizard took a liking to Eevee, and I was a little bit upset that I couldn't quite reach his arm down to just put his claws over Eevee's head. But also, I thought maybe it would look a little bit creepy if he was holding Eevee by the head. But still, Charizard's very fond of Eevee, as you can see here. And as you can see, like you can also pose the model so it can get down nice and low. That was still freestanding. You can see it standing on its 2 feet in the background there, and
Very posable.
yeah,
They're very posable. Yeah.
they're very posable. There's lots of ball joints in them so that they move things around really nicely. A couple of the joints pop off a little bit, but that's all right. Optimus Prime also mistakenly hopped on for a ride thinking that Charizard was Grimlock. As you can see, Charizard is not particularly amused about it.
No.
Although what I also noticed after I took this is that Charizard's actually mimicking his pose as well. Rather than I meant it to look like I'm gonna punch you, but then it also looks like he's just mimicking him. And the other thing is that I also thought that you could do a version of How to Train Your Dragon. With Charizard and with Optimus Prime.
I challenge you to put another figure there rather than Optimus Prime. All right. Put one of your Star Wars 6-inch Rebels figures or something. Come on.
Yeah. So I probably could do that. They're single. They're about the same height. I think the 6-inch figure would probably be a little bit taller.
Too big.
Still,
Yeah.
Now, what have we got this topic up here?
So Grace said something about Mezco Toys doing a classic pulp hero, the Shadow. I know I haven't seen that.
I would be psyched for that as well because, I mean, who knows what evil lurks in the hearts of men? The Shadow knows.
The Shadow.
And to go with that, whose knows what evil lurks in the hearts of men? The Shadow's knows.
Charizard's my number 1 favorite Pokemon. There you go. Okay, cool.
Yeah, Charizard is pretty cool there.
Any more photos? That's it.
Did I have one more photo? Oh, I did have a couple of photos of Florigata, but you know what? We'll come back to that. We'll look at not Florigata, Meowscarada. Well, yeah. Let's talk a little bit about Star Wars Micro Galaxy Squadron instead, shall we?
Absolutely. But first, I want to actually quickly, if you don't mind, talk about Jazzwares, the company, in brief, because they were founded in 1997 by a guy called Judd Zabiskie. I think if I've pronounced that correct. They're headquartered in Plantation, Florida, originally a small sort of a novelty toy maker, and it's sort of grown into a global powerhouse, I think built on entertainment licenses and trend spotting as well. Now, the ownership of the company, it became part of Allegheny Capital in 2016, and through Allegheny's sale, a Berkshire Hathaway company in 2022, it gave it a long-term capital to chase big licenses and acquisitions. So I'm just going through the whole Jazzwares thing. Now, some of their portfolio highlights include, let's see whether you guys can possibly remember some of these licenses. Squishmallows or Mallows, now the world's top-selling plush.
I have a 10-year-old niece, so I'm very familiar with Squishmallows.
Yeah. Squishmallows. They got now it's sort of like, it's the world's top selling plush line. Fortnite 4-inch figures. They have Pokemon, believe it or not. They have Roblox, AEW Wrestling, Halo also. I actually collect some of their Jazzwares Halo stuff, Nerf Sports, and apparently very fast costumes division.
Don't they also have some Transformers vehicles that they do?
We're not talking about Transformers.
Yeah, but Jazzwares touches Transformers.
I think they probably. I love stirring you.
Every episode I'm on must be touched by the Transformers.
Their 2023 revenue topped about $847 million, underscoring its scale in the collectible space. Now, this information's from a place called Mazes Edge. Now, as for their reputation with collectors, Jazzwares' approach is sort of like a fan-first thing, deeply authentic, very sensible price points, and a very short development cycle that keeps, I think, product waves very fresh as well. Those traits, I think, personally for me, they kind of set the stage for its biggest action vehicle venture to date, which, ladies and gents, is the Star Wars Micro Galaxy Squadron, which I have some on here for the show to check out tonight. So just a quick thing about Star Wars Micro Galaxy Squadron, and what we call MGS, and what I think makes the line so special. And here in front of me, I actually have a Millennium Falcon. I've actually unboxed it before when we're doing an AV check, and I'm going to show you guys that in a minute. But actually, you know what? I'm going to switch cameras because I'm going to put him up here so you can have a look at the detail, and we'll go into the detail a bit more. And I'm just going to show you from an overhead shot. There you go. Look at him. How lovely is that?
That looks
Eh?
that's so good, especially considering the size of it, the detail in the paint, and not just the paint, but the mold as well. There's a lot to love about this franchise.
Absolutely. And so what I'm going to do is I think what makes this line special. I mean, that's the underside, and then that's the top. And I think some people relate because, as I said to you earlier before, that this screams Micro Machines to me, and I'm so pumped about this. Like, just as much as you're so smitten by the blocky stuff with Transformers and Pokemon, I think this is the flavor of the month for me. So quickly, I'm going to talk quickly about MGS, and then we'll kick back to Pokemon. Okay, so then we can unbox a couple of.
No, let's stay with Star Wars for a while. These look so cool.
Yeah, they're cool. So the key attribute, I mean, the concept and scale, these guys were launched mid-2022. I think MGS shrinks iconic Star Wars ships to handheld, like 3 to 7 inch vehicles with fully articulated, 1 inch pilots and working features. And talking about pilots, this set actually comes with these little cool 1 inch figures. You got Han Solo, Princess Leia, Obi-Wan Kenobi, and Chewbacca. And this is obviously from the New Hope.
Are they somewhat animated looking in their design, or do they look more like sort of a traditional action?
Traditional.
Can you hold them up closer to the camera?
Yeah, very traditional.
Oh yeah, I see. Yeah, wow.
Very cool.
How big are they? Cool. Are they like 3 3/4? Or are they smaller than that?
No, they're 1 inch.
1 inch. Oh my god! Yeah, right.
So the whole point of MGS is that they can now, because the sizes are shrunk down, they can actually make vehicles to scale now. Slight change. Amelia lives. Sure, okay, I'll just have a look. Clint, I sent the link to your Facebook. Hello. How's it going, Nathan? Just thought we say a couple hot. Sorry, I'm tongue-tied. Just thought we say hello to a couple of people on here. Those mini Star Wars vehicles are so tempting. They are. So anyway, going back to MGS. So launched, like I said, mid-2022. They epitomized the concept of the palm-size armada, pitched deliberately, that nods to Galoob's 90s Micro Machines action fleet lines. Now, there's a wave cadence. When I talk about that, means a new series arrives roughly every 6 months. Series 1 to 2 in 2022 featured the Razor's Crest, X-Wing, TIE Fighter, and ATST. And then in Series 3 to 4, they had in the spring fall of 2023, they had Jedi Interceptors, Republic Gunships, AT-AT, Endor supersets. And then Series 5, late 2023, they had Rogue One U-Wing, Light Armor, the Light Armor Mystery Packs. And then Series 6, mid-2024, we were demanding hits like the Ghost and ATTE plus Army Builder reissues. So that was pretty much in 2024. And then now Series 7 and Vault exclusives. We got Scout Speeders. They're roughly in price ranges, usually from about $6 and up. So for example, a Speeder pod, light armor Starfighters are usually about US $15. And then Starfighters transports like the Falcon, in this case, this is a Corellian class light freighter, or the Imperial shuttles range from about $25 to $35 US. And then you got Capital Deluxes as well, which are like AT-ATs, Ghost ATTEs, and they range roughly from about $50 to $70 US as well. Now, I think they have brilliant marketing, because each wave uses like what they call these common and then rare chase ultra rare flagging on the packaging. Early examples. Actually, I have one example here talking about rare chase. Let me just get this figure here. So I like the way they do this, right? They talk about really, really smart, brilliant marketing using the rarity scale. And again, here's an example of, for example, a X-Wing, which is a launch edition, which is a chase of 1,000, one of 8, actually 5,000. I'm not sure whether you can see that. It's a bit hard because it's not reflecting.
It's a bit hard to show up on the camera. But there you go.
Yeah. So it's one of, I think, it says 1 of 5,000? 1 of 5,000.
Oh,
yes.
How did you get 1 of 5,000?
I managed to find this from a guy that was selling his Micro Squadron collection. So Yeah, so that was, that I lucked out basically.
Yeah.
But I think they're probably more available than you think. Now, two more things before we move on back to Pokemon.
No. Let's stay here for a bit. I'm happy.
Oh, okay. Okay.
But before we do, there's a couple of comments I want to bring up.
Sure.
A hello to the absolutely gorgeous Crispy, who I haven't seen in ages and need to catch up with. And Jono also said those figures are pretty detailed for their size. For the 1 inch figures that you showed going along with the Millennium Falcon, they really do look so detailed. I'm scared of what happens if you actually take them out of the box. Like I think by putting them in a larger box, you ensure that they will not get lost. But I think if you free them from the box, I think that it becomes a bit of a problem. And Craig also asked if you could please show the underside of the Falcon.
Sure. So look here. That's the underside.
So you can see sort of do those stands fold out? So you could fold them up if you wanted to.
Yeah, so you can. So these are the landing gears, and then
it's
they
actually
shut.
really clever that they go together.
And they have like a little here's turret as well for the gun that comes out, pops out. Oh, actually, there's another landing gear. Beg your pardon, my bad. And obviously the side hatch does open. I haven't actually tried. Like I said, I've managed to not stuff this up by trying to unbox something like this live online. But anyway, that's pretty cool. There you go. It's very, very well detailed.
Chris said if it wasn't for our hands to compare it, you would think it was a full-sized one. It's so detailed. They really are. These MGS sets are so good.
I know. They're lovely, right? Look, I think, like I said, in terms of brilliant marketing, great strategy, particularly also with distribution. Their core waves hit a lot of mass retail places like Walmart, Target, Amazon. And then you had select paint variants and bundles, and first-to-market items appear primarily in the Jazzwares vault. And that's something I want to talk about tonight as well, because I managed to score quite a nice bundle on the Jazzwares vault. And then you got special editions at convention booths. The reason why I think collectors love this line, several things. I think, first of all, it's screen accurate deco at true micro scale. So, like I said, it screams micro machines, but like modern sort of touch to it, like 2025.
I also think they don't take up much space on your shelf. If you want to have a bit of an armada, you can add lots and lots of ships from your favorite movies onto your shelves, and you don't have to give up that much space.
Yeah, correct. And that's what exactly Chris was saying as well. She was saying, in the comments that it doesn't take up as much shelf space. There you go. It's a shame that you aren't in the same room. Would love to see some Pokemon riding some Star Wars figures. Okay, we will go back to that. But what are some of the other reasons? Affordable price. Oh, like I said, one thing. Yeah, that's right. It has a uniform sizing. Lets shelves look like a star map of vehicles across the saga. Very affordable price ladder compared to Hasbro's vintage collection vehicles, I think. And also the chase hunting aspect and blind box scout packs recreate that real, like I said again, micro machines excitement. So there you go. I think that's the reason why I think this whole line has been very successful. So yeah, I'm pretty happy to move on, and then we can look at a few more Pokemons and then come back. And what I'll do is when we come back, we will unbox, as we're talking about these things, I'm going to unbox a X-Wing.
Are you going to unbox that super rare chase?
Actually, you're right. I didn't think about that. I don't know. I will not unbox the rare chase. In fact, what I might do is I'll unbox the Darth Vader's TIE Fighter, Advanced TIE Fighter.
I think that's a good idea. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Let's do that. Cool. Man, that's a nice Falcon. You're going to free the figs. Yes, I will at some point. And
he's going to free some of the figures, I think. Yeah. We don't want to lose them.
No, it's not a dare, Chris. I think I'll leave this one of chase of 5,000. And mind you, there's a lot of chases around that you can get. And also saying that, I will be in the US next week, so I'm going to try and see if I can find more of these chases. So there you go.
Can I ask a bit of a question, right? Because this does come up sometimes. So we were talking about, oh, are you going to unbox the chase figure? It's like, so do you have a criteria for when you will unbox something or when you will leave it in box if you've got it in the box? So like this comes up a lot in Transformers circles. Are you an in-box collector or an out-of-box collector? But it's not exclusively a question for Transformers. So like your chase figure is 1 of 5,000. So maybe we're not going to unbox it. Perhaps like what's the criteria? Where do you draw the line?
I don't buy things to invest. And where do you draw the line exactly? So this is I happened and chanced upon this by accident. So, and I got it for a really good price. And there's still, I'm sure some of these chases are still readily available. And like I said, very affordable. Where I draw the lines when you have to pay exorbitant amount of money to buy, things that may have cost you $15 to start with, and then you're paying something like, 5,000. So I'm not a box collector, and I don't really go chasing for chases, if that makes any sense. And where do I draw the line? Maybe this is something I'll hang on first and just see how it goes. And until I scope out, I guess, the market a bit more in the States. Like, I am relatively new to this Micro Squadron Galaxy stuff, only because apparently, and they were very readily available also in like places like JB and some of the retail outlets here. And
I remember we saw them in Maya. Yeah,
correct. So, but the minute I got my hands on this, particularly this was like, oh man, this harkens back to like Micro Machines, right? And so I don't know. It's funny because I had this conversation recently. I can't remember who it was, but imagine buying all these vintage collection ships and having so many of them, and if you wanted to did build your armada of like starfighters and your entire fleet of Imperial as well as Rebel ships, you would literally take up a lot of a shelf space. So this allows me now to really collect and set up, like I said, a small tiny armada or a tiny little squadron, for example. And speaking of squadrons, later on when we come back, I'm going to show you what I'm truly excited about. Finding something from the Jazzwares vault. So but I'll definitely free some toys. Definitely not this one. Like, I'll take Jason's advice and maybe think about this chase. But I'll just show you that chase there for a minute so you can have a look at that. There you go. Let's look at some comments. Craig's going, free the rare X-Wing, damn the man, save the Empire. Definitely. Toys deserve to be free. I agree. Mikey Siciliano.
So I agree, but I'm not going to do it.
Nah, yeah, well, yeah. There's some I'll like these two. I've already taken out the Falcon, so I only leave signed figures in the box, or I'm gifted something that doesn't fit in my collection. Yep, absolutely. Do they have a standard X-Wing that you can get that isn't a chase one? Yes, you can, and I'm going to show you something afterwards where you can buy the complete Red 5 squadron, Red 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Like I said, why have vintage collection ships about yay big trying to find these that are so expensive when these are incredibly well detailed? And like I said, when I unbox them, you will see why it's so cool. And then lastly, as someone who wants to own 9 X-Wings, 3 A-Wings, and 2 B-Wings, as well as other random vintage collection ships, I can assure you it takes up a lot of space. That is why hello, I'm buying this now. Oh, cool. All right.
we're all downsizing.
Absolutely. So let's take a look at some of the stuff that you've got, Pokemon, what else? And then as you do that, I'm going to swap to this one and unbox as you talking about something else. So we can
Can I just before we do that, go to what I think is going to be the right thing to press play on. Give me a minute.
This episode of Toy Reel is proudly brought to you by Sugo Toys.
Always important, I think, to remember our friends at Sugo Toys. And so before I talk about Pokemon, right? Like I asked you a question then about like keeping things in box and not in box, and like I didn't really give my answer, which is it kind of is a bit of a case by case basis, right? Like I'm very into a franchise that has a 40-year history behind it, and so if you happen to acquire things that come from like the 80s and the 90s and they're still in their box, I kind of I don't want to be the one who frees them from their box, right? Like I could just as easily find a loose version of that figure if I do want to play with it. And I think in terms of like sort of preserving history of the franchise, for example, or perhaps I will keep things in boxes. That being said, I have also completely smashed that rule. I like to collect rare e-hobby reissues of Transformers and open them. So
There you go.
I got the old Takara mini bots set, and I opened them and I got them out and I took photos of them, and very famously got the good old bright orange Optimus Prime, Power Master Optimus Prime, and opened that and taken photos of that as well. So like maybe it's just like I think maybe these days if I got those figures I might not go to opening them quite so quite so readily. And I might try to consider more sort of like what's out there, what the landscape of the market is. Like, if you get an Encore Ratchet, it's probably okay to open. But if you get like, if you get an Encore, if you get an Encore, like what did I get? Our good friend Glenn from his Action Figures Industries live auctions, I managed to get an e-hobby Blitzwing, Astro Train. And I don't want to open that. Like I paid a lot of money for that. I think it looks pretty good in the box. So I'm going to leave it. I'm going to leave it in the box. So yeah, maybe it really is just a function of how much I paid for things. And like you said, like I don't collect to invest, but it doesn't mean that I don't think about it. Like if I do have to get rid of something in the future, it's going to be worth less if I've opened it. But I'll only open it if I sort of have a place to display it. Like we talked about sort of my display ability here in my new place. Like, still haven't got that second Billy bookcase. It's going to go in behind me. But even then, like when I used to have a toy display, I had a glass cabinet where I put some of the e-hobby bots. I probably wouldn't just put them on a shelf like this. I'd probably have them in a cabinet or something on display. You can also display the e-hobby reissues in box. So these days, maybe I wouldn't open them. I mean, some of these figures, it has been like 4 or 5 years since I got them. So on the aggregate scale, about it being a 40-year-old franchise, like I got them when it was 30 to 35 years into the franchise. Now it's 40. Maybe the equation has changed a little bit. So yeah,
Let's move on.
Coupon
code before we go is the toyreel May. It's still it's you only got a couple of days left. It finishes on 31st. So yeah, you can see the coupon code flashing across the screen. So make sure.
Since I am about to talk about them, I'm just going to put this. I'm going to put this up on the screen there. I'm browsing the Sugo Toys website, and you can see there's definitely Pokemon blockies there coming, and they're coming in a little while. They're Q4 2025, so they're a little while away, which could speak to sort of when Blockies is planning the Western release for these. But just to run through the options that we have at the moment, there's 6 options for the S size Pokemon, and they are Charmander, Psyduck, Riolu, Sprigatito, Eevee, which is the one that I've opened up and got on the camera in front of me, and of course Pikachu, because you can't launch a Pokemon anything line without having a Pikachu in there. And then on the large size, which is the L version, you've got Greninja. There's the set of 6. There's Greninja, there's Meowscarada, and there's Charizard. There is actually one more that they haven't got up there, but I'm sure they'll add it up later. And I also can't remember what it is. So, but you can get them from Sugo Toys. I mentioned earlier that Charizard is definitely sort of the largest and heaviest of the L size. So he's $30.95 regularly. They've even got it on sale at the moment on pre-order for $28, which $28 is pretty amazing for the size and heft of Charizard. And as you saw earlier, like I've had quite a lot of fun posing him with different things this week for photos. I remember the last one. It's an L size Ceruledge, which is Charcadet's evolution. So I am learning my Pokemon. I'm learning my Pokemon, and even better, for every single fact that I remember about Pokemon, I forget something about Transformers. So like, ooh, got to be a little bit careful about how much Pokemon knowledge I actually allow into my head. So there's four L's and 6 S's at the moment. They have just announced another 6 S size Pokemon, and if you look at the price of these, they're $12 or $9 on sale at the moment for the pre-order price. That's basically a coffee. It's a coffee and a cake, and you can get yourself some of your favorite Pokemon characters. So yeah, why not? And don't forget, of course, that there is of course the discount code for Sugo Toys is flashing across the bottom of the screen at the moment. It's toyreel May, and yeah, as Johnny says, Cereledge is the other large one. That's right. Don't know why that's not there, but I'm sure they'll sort it out before the end of the year. So yeah.
So have you got all of them? Have you bought all of them? Like so far?
But I've only opened the 3 of them that we've got. I've only opened the 3 of them that we've got up here. Let me see.
And do you have any currently right now that you can like literally try and speed build on the stream?
They're not actually that bad. They're not actually that bad to build quickly, but my room is very dark, and I do need to look at the instructions because, like I said, with Transformers, I can work out what goes where pretty quickly. But for the Pokemon ones, I need to look at the instructions, and I'm just gonna flash this up on screen as well, because as I mentioned, these are the Chinese release. So the instructions are all in Chinese, and while they are pretty easy to follow, like I said, it's dark in my room at the moment. I'm not confident. I'm not confident at building one at the moment. I'm sorry.
That's all right. All right.
Keep an eye on my socials, and keep an eye on toyreel, because we'll post up some photos of these as I finish building them as well, and yeah, we'll show you off what they look like.
Sounds good.
As far as these go, I do want to point out, like I mentioned, the $10 or $10 or $12. Like, so Eevee is tiny. The S ones are tiny. They are very small. They've got a little bit of articulation there, so like I can move the tail around. It's a bit hard to do this one-handed. You can, I don't know why I have to do it one-handed. In fact, so I'm just gonna do this. You can move the ears up and down, and you can move the tail, and the legs move around as well. So Eevee, the small ones have a bit limited articulation, but they are still fun, and they do still sort of stand around and hang with the best of them. I'm still very fond of this Charizard. Like you can see how easy it is to move some of these pieces, even though I'm doing the TV Weather Girl impression, because I'm really not sure what I'm doing with my left hand. But yeah, you can move the arms around. You can pose the head, move the neck around, and of course you can, if I can figure out how to do this. Come on. You can also open the mouth up there as well. So you can really have some fun with the posing of them. This is I'm going to move this aside also. Charizard comes with a lot of flame effects. I'm just going to bring his base in here. Each of them does come with a base, which is pretty cool. Charizard comes with a lot of flame effects, and you're meant to sort of stand him and pose him and make it look like he's sort of breathing out fire there. Because I always find it a little bit funny with models and things with the transparent parts. You're meant to just mentally blank out, but I'm like, well, it's right there. They're fine. It's you meant to block it out, but I can't mentally. But so I don't tend to put him on the stand. And my photography style when I'm taking photos of toys and stuff is that I will try to sort of pose them in ways that amuse me, or reference certain other franchises, or just I'll try to go for maybe a little wry comment or something like that. And so I'm not going to use the base that much. Things change a little bit when we get to Meowscarada. Like as I bring this over, you'll note that it sort of shakes a little bit. And Meowscarada themselves, like they have two very sort of very small feet, and that's not Blocky's fault. That's the design. So like they've been faithful to the design, but the result is that Meowscarada doesn't really stand up on his own. It's very difficult to pose him. So I have elected to put him on his base, where he is supported by just a claw grip around the waist. And I really do love all of these sort of green swoosh effects and the like. And like you see those kick in when the characters do things in the games and in the media. And what have I done there? That's fine. That's fine. You can you can sort of stop it wobbling a little bit by pushing the stand down a little bit. That should wobble a little bit less, I guess. I think after having such fun posing Charizard, I sort of got to Meowscarada. I'm like, I don't really know what to do with it. Like you're a little bit more limited in sort of moving the elbows around and moving the hands around, and maybe it's just not a character that I connect with. I'm more fond of Greninja. I'm also not that fond of Ceruledge, but I am very fond of Charizard, and so sort of I'm like, oh, that's nice, but let's bring Charizard back up, and like it is really cool. I'm very taken by Charizard. I do think that they might be about to announce another 4 Ls, because they've just announced more a second wave of the S's. So I'm interested to see what they do. Anyone who's familiar with Pokemon will notice that the Ls are the evolved forms, and there is actually so the base form of Meowscarada is Sprigatito. Sprigatito is in one of the boxes, is just hanging out the back there. I haven't opened it up yet. And Charmander is Charmander is in also in one of the small boxes as well. So I wonder if the new L's might be related to some of the new S's that they've announced in the last week or so as well. So as with the Micro Galaxy Squadron, I find them all quite affordable. I really quite like them. I'm just I'm gonna bring us back in here, because we've had the Pokemon up there for a while. I find the Pokemon Blockies really quite affordable. In fact, I find Blockies in general quite affordable. Like the prices that you can get them for are really good, and really cheap, and very. I've said affordable too many times. Let's just say value for money. So yeah. Now, I
Nice.
think I have gone on about Blockies for quite a while now. So like we can we can we can go. Do you want to go back to Micro Galaxy Squadron? You mentioned that you wanted to mention some of the stuff that the Jazzwares Vault.
Yes, I do. And before I do that, though, let's take a quick look maybe at something I just unboxed and go through some little specs. I'll put this on here. So as you can see, this is the Vader's Advanced TIE Fighter. That comes quite nicely. It's in the blister box. I've actually opened it, so you can see here. I've got it open. They're very easy to open. Micro Galaxy Squadron, Darth Vader's TIE Advanced. Jazzwares logo here, pretty cool. And then you got a bit of artwork on the side. You have, again, I wouldn't say that Jazzwares presentations, particularly with the Micro Squadron stuff, is particularly pretty. They're just functional. They're sort of more like...
I quite like it, though. Like, I like the fact that there's whooshes, there's little wedges where things hang in, and it's consistent across all the line. Like I know, look, I am a bit of a packaging nerd, and I actually do appreciate the packaging for these.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I guess it's a Disney themed thing, so it's licensed properly, and Jazzwares have done really well. So very easy to take out. Homage to obviously the Battle of Yavin, and where I've unboxed this before. It comes in this tray. As you can see in the tray, I've already popped the TIE Fighter out. Comes with one single figure.
I'm actually very amused because you've got black sleeves on and your desk background is pretty dark. It looks like you're actually unboxing stuff.
Yeah. So there you go. Very well done. This is the Darth Vader's TIE Advance fighter. Before I talk about the toy, I'll give you a bit of what they call a primer. It's a prototype TIE advanced fighter in terms of its class. It's actually a prototype. It's roughly, in law, about 9.2 meters long. You can only have one pilot, obviously. Pretty cool armaments. It's got a 2-chin mounted heavy laser cannon and also a provision for a warhead launcher as well. In terms of the speeds, it will go up to roughly about 1,200 kilometers in an atmosphere. Hyperdrive Class 4, rare for TIEs. So this obviously is the advanced TIE fighter. So it's very, very rare, like I said, for Class 4 to have a hyperdrive. Defenses, it's experimental deflector shields and also a reinforced hull. And obviously it has to be reinforced because good old Vader's in it, you know. And then the distinctive features particularly is an elongated cockpit, obviously here. Forward swept solar wings, advanced life support, and avionics tailor-made for Vader himself. And speaking of Vader, we have this tiny figure of Vader here. And like I said, these are the 1-inch. And you can see here, that's the man himself in all his glory, in 1-inch goodness. And
do all the 1-inch figures in this line come in their own little boxes like that?
Yes, they do.
It's like little action figures.
I know. It's like mini action figures, like, you know.
You got to unbox
cool.
the action figures as well as the vehicle. Yeah,
I love it. It like I said, it harkens back to that whole Micro Machines thing, and that's why I'm so in love. And these things are not even articulated. The paint jobs are not that great, but man, look at that. Imagine having. Well, that's the reason why we're going to allude to something later on as well. So I'm going to.
I think the paint is as good as it needs to be, right? Like. It's not being sold as like an on-screen replica. Like it's still a toy. And I think it's okay. Like they've done it. They've made a good effort at matching the on-screen representation without going overboard. Because I mean, if they put more details in and more paint in, it's just going to drive the cost up. I think they've found a good sweet spot.
Sweet spot, yeah. And I'm having trouble trying to get the cockpit open. There we go. And I probably maybe just broke it. Did I not break it? Oh, I broke it. No,
I hope not.
No, maybe not.
Don't know what that part is. There's always a bit left over when you do it yourself. It's okay. We had a question from Craig. He says, "Have they done a TIE Defender?" That was always my favorite.
A TIE Defender? No, I don't know. Can't tell you. Can't tell you if they did or not. Maybe just look up Jazzwares. They may have. So yeah, it does kind of open, but I'm not sure if I've actually broken it. But anyway, these things are really finicky. And so you have this little button back here as well where you can eject Darth if you want to, but no, I wouldn't do that. And the wings do come off. So very nice and modular, easy for you to ship and transport around. But I
do have an answer. They have done a TIE Defender and they've also done chases of the TIE Defender as well. So, yeah.
There you go. So that's it. That's Vader's advanced TIE fighter. So we'll come back and we'll look at the standard TIE fighter in a minute. Okay, Jace, what else have you got?
I don't have that much more as far as Pokemon stuff goes. Like I think I'm about done.
Okay.
I wanted to bring up because actually, if I go a long way back up the comments, to quite a while ago, Nathan mentioned something a while back. I'm madly trying to scroll to find it, and I'm not having any luck. He said I've considered getting the X-Wing and the TIE Advanced from this line. They're cool little models. Now, was that a TIE Advanced that you just had there?
Correct. That is the class prototype TIE Advanced Starfighter that Vader basically pilots. So here it is. You should get it. It's actually still very affordable, but we'll there'll be ways in which you might still be available in retail. And
Yeah,
speaking of X-Wings, we will talk about X-Wings, but actually, so let's quickly, you know what? These are actually really easy to unbox. So let's unbox this real quick.
since I didn't want to build a Pokemon live, but you can unbox live. That's okay.
Yeah, no, this
Yeah.
is so again, this is a launch edition. This is a standard Micro Galaxy Squadron TIE Fighter, a 1-inch pilot. You get a TIE Fighter pilot as well. Very cool. Again, the blueprint sort of artwork in the background, which Jason loves, and I'm not a big fan of.
I think it's cool.
Then you have the different chase vehicles. You have a TIE Fighter, you have also an ATSD, and then you also have the light armor class ones as well. So, you know, the different chase vehicles that you can get. Usually they plaster all over the back of the artwork. Price tag's been ripped off. It shows you the 1-inch figure will go into the cockpit, but like as you can see, blister box, very easy to. Just gonna open it. There we go. Look at how easy that is. Pull up the tray, get the tray out of the box, and that's it. There you go. Nice. I'm gonna chuck that. Lovely. Oh, you know what?
The figure's gone.
No, not the figure. Yeah, the figure is gone.
Yeah.
He actually fell. No, he's actually back in here. So there he is. Now the figure's there. Nice presentation. Very simple. I'm not sure there are any ties in here. I don't want to risk it, but I am going to try. These things can be a bit finicky to pull out, but let's see if I can do so without damaging. There you go. Easy. Look at that. Just came out.
Yeah.
Gorgeous. You can definitely put a black wash on it if you are inclined that way. Certainly, if you want to put a bit of battle damage or, you know, weather it. These days, people are so smart with airbrushing and normal brushing that you can actually weather things you want to. That cockpit door was a lot easier to open than Vader's Advanced Starfighter. So I think
that seems right. I mean, like Vader's harder to get out of his ship in general, right? Like, you know, you got to be quite the marksman.
And I suspect that Vader's ship cockpit thing was maybe broken. So let's take him, and what I'm going to do is switch. I want to show you this quick chase as well, back to the X-Wing while I pull this guy out. Wonder if that chase is still available, actually. I don't know. Maybe that's something that Nathan Ashby can buy and try and find as well. Who knows? But anyway, I'm going to pull this guy out and see if I can fit him into the top of the cockpit. These guys are quite finicky.
While you do that, can we talk a little bit about Jazzware's Vault?
Yes, we can talk about Jazzware's Vault for sure.
So those of us on the Transformers side know about Hasbro Pulse as sort of like the place that you go to buy some particular exclusive items. And Jazzware's, and I mean most other toy companies also operate their own site for selling direct to the public now as well. And for Jazzware's, it's the Vault. Does that guy actually go all the way into the cockpit so he can shut it, or does he stand there and
he can stand? Oh, actually, you can articulate it and make him sit in it, and he actually goes in there and he will fit in there. Pretty cool, huh?
That is actually really cool. I did not expect that you would actually be able to get a pilot into there.
No, but you can even stand him up like that, and on top.
It does look good, sort of having everyone stand in or near their ship if you're doing that on the shelf. So with Jazzware, so you've got one of the TIE Fighter figures there, but the Jazzware's Vault website has a particular versus pack that you're quite excited about getting. I'm gonna bring the screen share in that's got it up there as well. So we've got the Red Squadron versus Black Squadron bundle. So this is 5 X-Wings and 5 TIE Fighters for $135 US. It is US dollars.
It is
ridiculously good value. Like we're talking about what, $13.50 per ship. And we've had a good look at the TIE Fighter there. You don't have a loose X-Wing at the moment, do you?
No, I don't.
No,
I mean, unless I open the chase. But you know what? I think on that Jazzware site, you can actually buy a chase. There is actually also a Luke Skywalker chase available right now in Vault, and I'm pretty sure from memory, when I looked last time, they were available.
Oh, that's cool. I am not going to do a search live because I've learned not to do. I've learned not to do things other than open pages live because otherwise things get a bit weird. But so yeah, we're looking at the Jazzwares Vault website. $135. You get so the you can see you mentioned the rarity of the rarity scale of the figures. The TIE Fighter pack, I can't find a close up of it, but I can see a little yellow sticker on it saying that it's a Vault exclusive. So you can't get that.
Correct.
You can't get that pack of TIE Fighters anywhere other than Jazzwares Vault. I believe they do ship to Australia as well. So you've got a couple of options when buying things from the US. I mean, the main option that I go with is not, because it's so much to ship stuff over from there. But if things are exclusive to US websites, then so be it. So yeah, you've got a couple of options. You can either ship directly and just be done with it and put it out of your mind and wait until your toys arrive, or you can be a little bit more involved in the process, which I tend to be usually. I tend to put things up on up to my freight forwarder and then combine shipments and do things like that. I'm going to kick out the screen share because you've got a nice little close up on the TIE Fighter there that I want to put back up there as well.
So I'm going to put both the TIE Fighter and the advanced TIE Fighter together, so that you can go. It's lovely. It's so. Oh, I don't know. I'm in love with this line. Just absolutely smitten by this line. It's so cool. I'll pull out Vader as well, and you can see it's a 1-inch. And I'll just have him stand next to his advance, or just in front.
Very nice.
Look at that. You got, wow, how cool is that, man?
Craig also points out that Jazzwares is doing the Ghost, which is the ship from Rebels, and I believe also turns up a little bit in Ahsoka. Can't wait for season 2 of Ahsoka. And yeah, man, if I was gonna get a Star Wars, HasLab, the Ghost really tempted me, but I did not, because I have no place to put something like that. Maybe I'll get the Micro Galaxy version of it. Yeah, we'll see. But yeah, no, I love that ship too. So,
it's so cool. I mean, these I think these are probably more in scale. If I were to be completely honest, this Millennium Falcon is way too small. So you know, the ramp. I did finally get that ramp open, and for a 1-inch figure, it's way too small. I wanted to get one. I wasn't really particularly keen. The whole point of getting these personally was to try and line them up like in a fleet formation or even a squadron formation in the landing bays, and then taking a macro photo of that for some toy photography stuff as well. I think that'd be really cool. So yeah, there you have it.
That would look great.
Yeah. I want to quickly give you some nerdy stuff as well, if that's okay. So if I swap my screen and
you want to go from Star Wars to nerdy stuff?
Oh, this is nerdy stuff.
I don't know if that's allowed. Like that might be too much nerd overload. I might have to get the Transformers out.
Tricky. Okay, so this is I gave you some specs before with the advanced. This one is the Imperial Light Starfighter. That's its class. Again, crew of 1. It's roughly about 6.4 meters in comparative to a human being or a pilot, and it has 2 laser cannons armaments. To be exact, the 2LS 9.3 laser cannons that you can see in the front here. Roughly the same speeds as the TIE Fighter Advance as well, roughly 1,200 kilometers per hour in atmosphere. Hyperdrive shields, none, because this is completely reliant on carrier support. So unlike the advanced TIE Fighter, it doesn't have hyperdrive. And the range, you could pretty much fly this with 2 days of consumables and no life support redundancy. So that's pretty fucked. Mass-produced spherical pod flanked by hexagonal solar array wings for maximum maneuverability and minimal cost. So the Empire basically just went, yeah, we'll mass-produce these guys and we'll just fucking, let them be cannon fodder.
Did you say max maneuverability and minimal cost?
Yeah,
I think that's the first time I've ever heard anyone speak of the Empire being frugal.
Yeah, they are very frugal, aren't they? So yeah.
No.
Yeah, no. Come on, mate. Come on. Actually, and then going back to this guy, let's go some more stuff with this Millennium Falcon. This is in most of you guys that don't know. I'm assuming everyone will know. Star Wars lore. It's a heavily modified YT 1300 Corellian light freighter. From nose to stern, roughly, in comparative to a human, which is about 34.7 meters. So as you can see, this doesn't scale up to that, right? Anyway, but like I said, they could have made something bigger and thought about it. So come on, Jazzwares, we want fucking ships to scale. Come on, do it.
Are you suggesting that Jazzwares should start the Macro Galaxy Squadron line?
Yeah, not micro, macro probably be better. Yeah, why not? Why not? Crewing capacity, 2 pilots, 2 gunners, room for about 6 passengers on board, and 100 tons of cargo. Pretty cool. Has twin quad laser turrets, dorsal and ventral. So you got up here and also underneath here. Concussion missile tubes, ventral blaster cannons. Slightly actually slower than the TIE fighter standards or the advanced. They're at roughly about 10-50 kilometers per hour in atmosphere. Has like a hyperdrive as well. This thing always has its problem with hyperdrive, as if most of you guys watch Star Wars will know that.
It does look like it's a bit burned out.
Yeah, it is burned out, and it has all these deflector shields, military grade deflector shields, given the fact that it is a Corellian light freighter. But like I said, it is heavily modified, and it has also a sensor baffling hull plate. And the mods that Han Solo and Chewie did were smuggling compartments, upgraded sublight engines, and a nav computer. So there you go. That's a bit of education's, what I'll call an education basic 101 on the Millennium Falcon. So there, pretty cool. I like this, just not big enough. But I do like this, and I do like this. This is awesome. So there you go.
They look really good when you put them together. So yeah, it's fantastic.
So,
don't lose those figures.
Anyway, I won't, and I will certainly not try and lose these guys as well, because I do like them. They are the figures that come with the Millennium Falcon. So I think the takeaways, personally for me, I think with Jazzwares, takeaways for fellow collectors, I guess, if you're interested, it's very accessible. So it's like it's a very accessible entry point.
Look, I'm so tempted to go out and buy some now. You've done me absolutely no favors tonight.
They're so well done, and you know what? I'm going to put them here again, and I
can't afford to buy these, Clinton. If I do, I can't get the blockies that I want. That's to say nothing of actual Transformers as well, right?
Yeah, exactly. You got to buy blockies for everything, mate. Let me change that. Let me look at that. Figures, and I have obviously this guy here as well. Very cool. Good old Millennium Falcon.
I do find it funny that like some people do tend to display the Millennium Falcon sort of standing up behind whatever the thing is, because it just takes up so much space otherwise.
Yeah, exactly. So as I said, accessible entry point, roughly about $10 to $20 for smaller ships. And I think the MGS, personally for me, is one of the few Star Wars lines where you can build a fleet without breaking the bank. It has also a lot of deep cut potential. So Jazzwares has already ventured beyond the movie's greatest hits to Clone Wars, Rebels, and even Ahsoka designs, and hinting at sort of a very a big sort of product roadmap or a long runway. Make sure you watch the Vault. Definitely make sure you watch the Vault drops, because they're limited bundles that sell through fast and often carry sort of unique weathering or squadron markings you won't see at retail. So that's why I bought the Red Squadron and TIE Fighter Squadron bundle. I'm picking that up next week in the US, and I'm so excited. I might even do like a live stream from my hotel room or something. I don't know. I'll give it a go. I'm not sure what time it is over there.
We can arrange a live stream from your hotel room. It's fine. Take some gear over. You can do a little guerrilla live stream. It won't be as pretty as your current room, but it'll be real. You know,
we've done it before. We did it in Nelson Bay, so I have like a little Osmo Pocket, which I can just sit in front of that laptop there,
Yeah.
and I'll maybe dial it in.
Go check out the local Walmart and do some streams from Walmarts and various collection places and stuff. Like you can share the disappointment that is Target in the US, just like Target Australia when it comes to stock on shelves. But
Yeah. When speaking of which, too, with toy hunts and hauls and tours, I definitely will. Trust me, there is something dropping this week as well. In fact, the last time I was there was roughly a year ago, and I managed to get Larry Ross, who is actually, you might know Blast from the Past, actually, this shop in Burbank. And Larry owns the shop, and he actually was kind enough to take me on a shop tour. And that video is going to drop this week on toyreel, so that's going to be cool. And he was the guy that bought that Transformer collection or something. I don't know.
Well, yeah. So I was just going to say, like, the Blast from the Past is known amongst the Transformers community as the sort of the final place where some of Derek Wyatt's personal Transformers collection went.
Correct.
Derek is the creator of Transformers Animated, who very, very sadly passed away and left quite a legacy of love for his entry in the Transformers franchise. And there are some very unique pieces that ended up in Blast from the Past. I think they may have been liberated by now, but still, you never know. You never know what you'll see when you go into the shop. They seem to sort of piecemeal his collection out bit by bit and sort of wait for things to sell before they move on. I would personally, I would love to own something that Derek owned, but I don't know if that's a possibility. Give me a call when you're back at the shop, and we'll see what I can do.
I will. If you look at that video that we're dropping soon as well, you probably see a couple. But I think it's been picked to death, to be honest, with all the vintage stuff and even the Transformers stuff that's been in that shop. I can guarantee you that. So anyway, hey, we are running really good for time, so we want to try and keep it at an hour and a half, and we also appreciate people sticking around and putting up with us ranting. I tend to rant quite a bit, actually more so than Jason does sometimes. But I want to quickly do a quick takeaway, and also on that topic of taking away, quick takeaways for fellow collectors. I'm really chuffed about this whole, like I said, this Micro Squadron Galaxy line. And last but not least, like I said, watch for the Vault drops because they sell limited bundles, and also the display hacks. They have a really cool tiered acrylic riser, or sort of like these magnetic dogfight wires that give the micro scale a huge sort of really visual punch in a very little shelf space. So they're making these little acrylic cases and these things as well, which is awesome.
Are they mainly for Micro Galaxy Squadron?
Correct. So
right.
So on that note, I hope. Sorry.
No, I'm always looking for cool things to build a display out of, and I was just like, oh my god, display hacks! What? Tell me more. I was like, oh, it's only for that line, right? Fair enough.
No, it's only for that line. So look, for collectors who grew up with Micro Machines or Action Fleet, the Micro Galaxy Squadron feels like the spiritual successor, for lack of a better description, and only I would say with like 2020 sculpting, paint tech, and also a license that's clearly in it for the long haul. So if you are into that stuff, I highly recommend it. So anyway, we are going really good for time. And last but not least, as I promised everyone last week, I will now unbox, which I already have, and show you this beast of a thing. So who are these guys? Now, this is the Morocco of the West Great Wolf by the company Loose Collector Collectibles. Amazing. For those of you guys that are into your, I don't know, third-party figures, like I said, branded horror, that sort of thing, this is really cool. I've always been into werewolves. I like that sort of horror genre, but not so much the fact that he's a werewolf, but just in terms of how he's sculpted, how he's painted, how he's been produced. And just to give you a bit of a background story on Loose Collector Collectibles and who they are, they were sort of rooted in custom figures in 2006. They were founded by a guy called Dave Gardens, I think. He's an artist, and he's, again, based in the Philippines under the screen name of Loose Collector. The studio earned an international following for one-off Marvel and DC customs before actually moving into full production in the late 2010s. Now, they're independent but license friendly. So today the team still operates as a boutique shop design, sculpting, paint masters, and packing, pretty much all done in-house as well. And they also partner with a lot of publishing imprints, such as Coffin Comics. Maybe you're familiar with Lady Death, Hell Witch, that sort of thing. Dynamite, Red Sonja, and also publishing imprints such as Rob Liefeld's Extreme Universe as well. They design a lot of calling cards, so a lot of heroic 1/12 scale characters or figures, hyper clean digital sculpts. Wait till you see this guy. I've already unboxed him. It's amazing. They have a lot of deep cut accessories as well. Very collector friendly boxes. This one is very collector friendly. I can definitely take. I mean, I still have some of the accessories that are actually in this box that let you reshelf the figure without destroying the packaging as well. Now, what is this? This is the Crypt, the original line. This is just this quick snapshot. What I'm going to do, I've already unboxed this figure, right? I'm going to see if he's even going to fit on screen.
Oh my gosh.
And put him here and see if I can swap that. I mean, that's massive.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, wow.
That's huge. I actually have to put him back here. There you go. I have to put him back here. That's I mean, that's how huge. Oh crap, I wish I had a 6-inch figure, but he is massive. He's literally
you've got 1-inch figures. You can put a TIE fighter next to him.
Oh, I'll put a TIE fighter next to him and just show you how big this is. I mean, it's crazy. I mean, it's you know, but it's
He's massive.
He's massive. Yeah, exactly. I'm waiting.
Jason Grubb says he's been waiting to see this for so long now. The wait is finally over.
Yeah, absolutely. So going back again, I'll show you the figure in a minute, but they debuted on Kickstarter in 2023, and with the Monster Hide line, and quickly expanded into a sort of horror fantasy sandbox of sort of oversized beast and classic myths. So as you can see, this is like an oversized beast, right? The current sub-genres or sub-series within the Loose Collector line is, I think from memory, Monster Hide, which is like a 9.9-inch Victorian brute. And then you got Bigfoot versus Yeti, which is like a dueling 10-inch sort of cryptids. And then obviously you've got the Great Wolves, which is what I have here, which is 4 Titanic werewolves, one for each cardinal direction as well. So very awesome. Like if I grab him now and actually show it to you on the screen, shared engineering with like literally, I would say how 34 to about 36 points of articulation, swappable hands, heads, and paint apps that lean into a more naturalistic texture rather than the comic bright colors that you see. So distribution is quite limited as far as pre-orders are concerned. Now, this since has been sold out completely everywhere. In fact, I was lucky enough to get this at Sugo Toys. They had this on the LC web store, plus a small run allotments for the Big Bad Toy Store franchise, and also certain specialty e-tailers or online retailers. Once a wave sells through, it really will not return except as color variants. And I do also have color variants for this werewolf as well. Now, for
you've got this as well?
I do. I have another version. I have a brown version.
Oh,
Can everyone see that? This is gorgeous, isn't it? In fact, this also opens up. You can see it fully articulated.
Oh,
very,
like
very
Charizard.
like Charizard. Very, very articulated. As you can see, the spotlight here is him. He's Morocco. That's his character name. Concept: the Fiend of the West Mountain Clans. He's portrayed in a cold state gray fur to sort of evoke stone cliffs and moonlight granite as well. The lore paints him as the most ferocious werewolf of the pack, mastering sort of jagged terrain and is a master of ambush tactics as well. Now, with the figure specs, you have a 6-inch scale body, roughly from the body there, but then it goes up to about 9.8 to 10 inches to the ears. So I wouldn't say this is a 6-inch scale body. 36 points of articulation. So you got double knees, double elbows, ball jointed torso, neck, rocker ankles. The rocker ankles are pretty cool. I like them.
Yeah, wow. There's so much detail.
Yeah, the box contents. So it has a figure with 2 pairs of clawed hands. I left the rest in there. Some are relaxed and some are splayed. This is sort of more like, actually, these are more gripping ones, but I also have the relaxed and the splayed ones for posing versatility. If you want to put it that way. And the fur itself, it's really beautiful. It's sculpted for layering. So it's got red claw details and yellow lupine eye paint apps that pop against the monochrome pelt. So it's very, very, very nice. Ships in a collector window box with the crypt stone sort of texture motif, where I can show you here again, sort of motif. It's great. No tape seals on the inner tray, so you can remove and replace without damage. And pricing
that's nice and collector friendly.
Yeah, and the pricing and availability is originally usually about $94, about $100 on pre-order, and the first run is completely sold out. In fact, they're all sold out.
You're kidding? That's $100. I mean, it's US dollars, but really, that seems like a bargain for what it is. I mean, just the material in it alone, it's huge.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. I love this thing. Look at the size of my palm compared to this guy.
Can I also just speaking as you did when you said they come up for pre-order and once they're gone, they're gone. There is some loose collector stuff on Sugo Toys. It's all sold out. So if you keep an eye on that page on the site, and if you do see some stuff come into stock, you might want to order it as soon as you can.
You absolutely want to order it, and I am, like I said, very, very happy with this guy. Super happy. And so I mean, takeaways. What are takeaways? I don't know. Display impact. You can have a single sort of Great Wolf can anchor a horror shelf if you want to. Exaggerated height then sort of looms over sort of Marvel Legends. If you want to display these with Marvel Legends, you can. Mythic Legions or even NECA creatures if you want to. That's cool too. It has a great amount of customization potential, actually. It's sort of neutral wrist pegs and plain gray palette. Sort of invite sort of dry brushing or blood splatter mods if you want to sort of create a battle damage for it. If you want to, you can do that as well. I wouldn't fuck it up, but I like it the way it is. And I think the future synergy for Loose Collector hinted that the crypt monsters will sort of cross over into a more packaging art and diorama base type of figure releases in the future. So pick up Morocco now if you plan on the secondary market, or if you want to do a full moon diorama down the line. I know for fans of articulated monsters and anyone who ever wished the old Toy Biz, if you recall, the old Toy Biz werewolf had modern joints. This figure proves the crypt lives up to its Kickstarter buzz. Really, like for me, end of the day, for me, this is boutique engineering, premium feel, and just the right dash of what I would describe as grindhouse horror charm. On that note, grindhouse. So there you go. That is one epic werewolf. Absolutely agree. There you go. So we managed to get through this guy, and in good time. We got.
Great. It's been really good.
Yeah.
Did you have some Joy Toy stuff you wanted to speak about before we go?
Before we go, and also before we go, we really need to give a couple of shout outs too as well, and make sure that everyone does get their chance to get their shopping codes tonight. But I saw this. In fact, a friend, as we were on stream, a friend of mine sent me a message and went, dude, Joy Toy are making Warhammer tanks. They have just done the Blood Angels, right? Annihilators with twin laser cannons, and look at the size of that thing. My goodness, far out. If you're watching this,
Adam is watching this. Adam just joined us. But
they're making tanks. So Joy Toy are now they're sizing up, and it's incredible. It's incredible. So I'm looking forward to that. Anyway, I just wanted to give that a bit of a shout out, because I can't wait for the blueberries, the blue ones. Blood Angels, okay, but I'm just sticking with the poster childs, which are essentially blueberries. Jason goes, Take it off screen. It's too sexy.
He's talking about you. We can leave Joy Toy up.
Yeah, oof to Joy Toy. They're getting bigger and better. Actually, go back to a couple other comments before. Let's take that off screen and let's close with this, Jace. And then we can go also with the yes, incredible value. It is. I think you want one, and you wanted a loose collector's Rocketeer, but couldn't fit in the budget. Yeah, that is one epic werewolf. So don't forget, guys, if you do want your codes, enjoy 15% off, valid until the 31st of May, which is in a couple of days. How far away is that? 2 days? 3 days?
2 days. Today is the 29th, so you have a couple of days to get into check out what's on Sugo Toys' website and use your discount code.
Absolutely. And for those of you guys that want a bag, we also have a cool little collab with Alpaca, and you can get a 20% off site-wide for them as well. And we featured that in a photo that I took with an Alpaca bag and the Tech 63 figure by Devil Toys on the last stream by a independent artist in the Philippines called Quix. And what basically they did was there you go, Jason's got that online, Alpaca website. They did a collab, and like I said, I love these guys when they do collabs with like bag brands or boutique brands that do it with designers and toy makers. And they made I think Alpaca commissioned Quix to basically do an artist interpretation of Tech 63, which they put as a hook and loop, a hook and loop on their sling, their Go Sling. So there you go. That's it. Get your 20% off. And also, last but not least, before we go, I got to give out another shout out to these guys. So we'll be right back.
This episode of Toy Reel is proudly brought to you by Sugo Toys.
Okay. So, yep. Thank you, Jason. It was very educational tonight on Pokemon Blockies.
Blokies. Yes. Yeah. It's look. The more I do Pokemon Go and stuff like that, the more I learn about Pokemon as well. So, as I said earlier, every Pokemon fact that goes into my head means one less Transformers fact, or it might mean I forget one scene from Red Dwarf or Blackadder or something. I don't know. Like I feel like as I rapidly approach the age of 50, there's about so much stuff that I can hold in my brain, and then it's going to fall out as I get new stuff. So we'll see what happens.
Yep. No, all good. I mean, as long as we enjoy it, don't hurt anyone. Hey guys, sorry I couldn't make it to the chat, but I'll see you next time. Well, you actually made it to the chat just then.
You did make it, Cap. Yeah. Just now, but yes.
Blokemon. Okay. Oh, on that note, from all of us here, the two of us. By the way, Josh couldn't make it tonight. It was a last minute thing, so he does send his apologies. He's in logistics, so they had to get him to stay back. But we were going to do a toy haul because we were going to talk about some Storm collectibles as well and stuff that he also found at CollectorCon. And hopefully we will see Jason at the next CollectorCon because, when
probably not. Maybe you know what? Maybe you can have Jason the Bruce. That'll do.
Yeah.
You can have a Jason, but yes,
I know Craig. That's not Craig. I think Chris has been to the CollectorCon. He's come a few times. So, Whirly thing. There's a Whirly gear alert.
Whirly gear alert. Yes, thank you, the cat. Thank you to the cat. Yeah, it's that shiny thing.
It is that shiny thing. But anyway, all right. And so, yeah, Jason, thank you so much for coming on the stream. As always, I appreciate your time and enthusiasm. And to everyone else.
I've missed doing these so much. I'm really happy to be back.
Yeah, great. We're happy to have you back too. And to everyone that tunes in all the time and engages and leaves comments, we appreciate that too. And it's always good fun. Thank you so much, Mikey and Chris. Great night, guys. Travel safe. I will do. Thank you so much. And I am putting it out there. If anyone wants me to bring something back small, I can always give it a go. So on that
How
note,
much baggage allowance do you have? Because like,
well, maybe a lot, maybe not. We don't know.
you can sell
But
it
anyway,
off by the kilo and see how you go.
I can sell off by kilo, double the price.
Yeah.
All right, guys, have a good night.
Bye,
Thanks,
everyone.
everyone. Cheers.